Bienvenidos and welcome a Cositas Mommy Never Told Me, a podcast that dives deep into the Latin cultural norms that have long haunted the feminine genre. Montate and buckle up porque it's going to be a roller coaster ride. Nos fuimos! Hola!
Hi, Diana!
Hi!
Our last episode was so good when I was like, hi, Diana. And then I was like,
Wait,
hi, Diana.
Hi, both Dianas.
I literally was like, Diana squared. How did that happen? And she's Diana as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was referred to by Deanna.
Deanna, Deanna.
And N-A. I was like, lots of D's.
Yeah.
How was your weekend?
Diana's a newer friend, but I know Deanna since we was like...
You guys grew up together, right?
Grew up together, like riding bikes through the North End, like...
When kids used to play outside.
And she always been a thug, too. You know it. You be listening and watching. You was a thug.
I don't get the vibes from her. She's so beautiful.
No, she's beautiful. She's a wonderful person.
She's got these amazing eyes. But you know what? You know what? There's that switch. What's that little boy? What's that meme where what does he say? Where he goes, there's that.
No, but she's a
That's what. Shout out to Deanna.
I love
the real green-eyed bandit.
Yeah.
Green-eyed bandit. How was your weekend? You went and did fun stuff.
My weekend, yeah. So I did. I was supposed to go bowling with Ellie.
Shout out to Ellie. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Ellie! And I am so sorry. Your girl took a gummy and said she was gonna take a nap and ended up sleeping until about 10:30.
I could have told you that at the sight of the gummy. I'm not going bowling.
I'm thinking I'm gonna take a gummy. It wasn't a sleeping gummy. It was a calming.
It doesn't matter.
So I was like,
it would have been different if you took the gummy on your way, but if you took the gummy still in your house, no, ma'am.
I can't take a gummy on my way driving. What?
No, ma'am.
I would be like, look at the rainbow.
Shout out.
Look at the rainbow. Look at the rainbow.
All the lights. What are all these lights?
Look at Pegasus flying through the sky. Pegasus is a unicorn, by the way. For the people that don't know.
And unicorns are not real.
They are.
Or are they?
Man form.
But by the way, 1 and 2, when you're on a gummy, everything is possible.
Everything that's mythical, everything that's fantasy,
magical,
everything is open to interpretation.
I'm still hunting for that unicorn hunter.
Girl. So I woke up like around 10:30, saw that she texted me. I felt so bad because I had been anticipating going and hanging out with her and her siblings and then just bowling, period, because I love bowling.
I saw them on Lucelli. Shout out to Lucelli. I saw them on the Instagram. I was like, are they bowling or are they ratchet? What is it called? Oh my God. Did I just say what is it called? They was, what the fuck?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what you're about to say. Ratchet, I don't know what.
they was perreando on seats and shit. I'm like, okay.
Oh, that type of ratchet. Okay.
Yes. Now, of course. I was like, are they bowling or are they bowling?
Then when I was looking at the picture, I told my husband, no shade, Eliana, but I was like, we would have been like the chaperones of the group. Everybody was all young, in their 30s and shit. We would have been like dozing off and shit with a gummy. But anyways, woke up, took another gummy. I don't know why I did that.
Girl, did you survive the next day? Did you wake? I'm surprised you're here. Can I check your pulse? Are you alive?
My husband said, you were speaking nonsense.
And you were like, and I liked it. And I like it. Everything I said is the truth.
My question is, can I bring gummies to DR? But anyways, on set.
Well, you could just, because it's international. I think I always travel with them in a Ziploc. I take them out of the container and put them in a Ziploc.
For real?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess. But P.S., you do gummies. I think in DR you can find gummies too. You can find weed anywhere.
I'm not doing.
Me neither. I will be putting.
I'm used to.
That's the thing. I can't be. That's why I put little Ziplocs and put gummies, and then I just pack it.
I'm hypersensitive, so I can't really be, exploring like Dora. But anyway, on Sunday, I ended up going to the casino. I lost money.
So your voices weren't saying casino. They were probably saying stay away from the casino.
They was like, bitch, what you doing? Bitch, what you doing?
They said you were supposed to come and see this comedian. Nothing else. Did we say anything else? No.
I lost money. It's okay.
How much?
We ain't gonna get into that.
Oh,
but I lost some, and but I was able to go see Joe Coy. Shout out to Rachel. She is always
Rachel is the plug, kid.
What? I'm telling you, she got a whole supporter. Damn, I'm saying too much. So, we were able to go see Joe Coy, and it was amazing. He's funny. He brought King back. And another person, Joey, I forgot his name, but he's also Filipino. But King Bach, as you know, he's the black comedian. He's younger.
So no, I don't know anything. What I was about to say to you is that I've discovered through this podcast that you are big on comedians.
I love comedians.
Did I take you to meet Kevin Hart and see Kevin Hart?
Yeah, we actually met him at his birthday party at Foxwoods.
Okay, perfect. Because I was like, if I knew this, I would have taken Diana.
Tiny.
Oh my God, put him in your pocket, literally.
But his personality, and he was so nice. So, listen, not Kevin Hart, he can't do no wrong by me, but so yeah.
Oh no, but I'm glad because my memory's bad. But in my head, I'm like, why wouldn't I have taken Diana?
Actually, you know what though? Actually, there was a thing that was supposed to happen because Phil was like, "Yeah, want to go to Miami because I got a free plane." Remember that?
That was when the whole thing happened with Eniko. Yeah.
So he was like, Kevin is.
You guys were supposed to leave. He left Foxwoods and they were on a private plane.
Yes.
And Phil was like, I could have just said, bro.
So he's like, do you guys want to come? And I was like, no, because at that point I was with my husband and the girls. And
As Diana today, she would have been like, I will buy some panties and clothes when I get there. Okay? Yep. We good. Am I standing the whole flight? No problem. No problem. Do I have to stand? I'm cool. I'll hold on like a bus.
No, but the thing is that he took a picture of the plane and the plane was empty. It was just Phil. I was like,
But you know what's crazy? That's totally normal. It's like, it's a totally normal day in that man's life. It's the craziest shit where he called me.
I
was already in Miami. I was already
there. You
there.
would call me and be like, yo, you want to go to Jay-Z tonight?
Literally, I have 2 hours. You want to go?
You'll be here in 2 hours. I'm like, that's when the kids was little. But ask me now.
I was like, damn, who do I call? And that's how I felt in LA, by the way, this last trip. Because I was going to go see Bad Bunny because he was in LA. And then it just so happens Phil's surgery got moved. So I didn't go. But in my head, I was like, who the hell am I going to take? None of my friends in LA. I also am very big. I don't like taking people. That's like when you just said about the Kevin Hart thing. In my head, I was like, I want to make sure I introduce Diana to Kevin because I don't like just taking someone to something who can't appreciate or who is just like, oh, I want to go. Like I can't take just anybody to Mark Anthony. It's like, So I was like, who am I really going to go to Bad Bunny with?
I only probably spaz out for like
But not even about the spaz out. Like, I want someone, like, it's like taking someone to a football game who hates sports. Like,
Right.
And then usually it's really good tickets. It's like AFC playoffs or something. And someone who's like, can't appreciate it. I'm good. I'm not doing it.
Right. But yeah, you guys have blessed me throughout the years, and even Jessica, like with NSYNC and all that. Like,
oh my God, you're taking it back.
And people ask me, "Where you going?" Don't worry about it.
You're like, what's this step? I trust my friends. I have no idea.
I have no idea where I'm going. Even if I had an idea, I don't know. Y'all need to know.
Y'all, and it's so crazy because it's like we could be the Kevin, and I'll be like Freddie too. I'll be like, well, I don't know, we might go backstage, we might not, and it's just kind of like, meh. And then we end up not only backstage, and we go to dinner. It's like these crazy. That's why I don't even tell, or even like when I get you guys tickets. I remember the first time I got Freddie tickets, and he was like, yo, bro, he's at the box office. The show started. I'm like, trust me, they'll get there. They'll get there. So after that experience, now he's like, okay, cool. I get it.
Right.
I'm like, when I tell you I got you, they're going to come through. I just don't know if you're going to miss the first like 4 minutes. And when I tell you last second, remember on the way to see Drake, I was like, did you get your ticket?
Yeah. Yo, I was checking every day.
And me on that trip was like, you're taking your kids? I cannot look crazy. Like,
and it's so funny because I was checking and they had came, I think, like 2 nights before the actual day, and then I was like, yeah, we got them. But
which was a miracle. Which was a miracle.
Oh my God,
like,
for real, because Drake was like, yeah, they were like,
and more really, ain't we bad that you didn't go to the concert where he giving out money now? He's giving out. I was like, I want to see now how many signs are in the arenas because he's giving out $25,000.
But I think he's doing it in the pit because I think the section. Well, I shouldn't say I think. I know that the section that I was sitting in was like industry people and managers and like family.
Oh yeah, it's because it's management tickets. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, if I put up a sign, they'd probably be like, "Who the fuck is this?"
Yo, that's like Perez Hilton. I mean, granted, we don't know this girl's story, but the girl that was like, my dad died or something and he gave her money, and Perez was like, she could have used the money that she paid for those tickets to go towards her dad. I was like, true, because them tickets was probably like $600, but mental sanity, she had to go to the concert and it worked out for her.
Nah, but we had amazing seats, as I said before. And anytime you guys are involved, it's amazing seats. So thank you guys.
That's shout out to Phil. That's all Phil.
Listen, you too.
Well, okay.
So what did you do this weekend?
So you love comedians, and I said that when you told me you told me like Friday, you were like, I'm gonna go see Joe Coy. I was like, I think I know. I was like, oh, that's the comedian. Then in my head, I was like, wait, she just saw the other comedian.
Matt Rife?
I'm like, oh, she likes comedians.
I really do.
Oh, we went. And I took.
Bitch was like, come, I got tickets. So I'm like, okay.
Perfect. And then we went to see Kevin Hart. We took Los and Fred, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did Los go to that one? No.
When we went to go see Kevin Hart, it was for his birthday party. So it was just like a party. Right, but then when we went to the comedy, it was
like when they took the phones.
My husband didn't go; they took the phones.
They took the phones.
That was the first time. I was like,
so they didn't take the phones with any of these other comedians. So it's probably not new material.
No, but they were enforcing, like they had people on all the aisles, like
not taking video, not taking.
And every time somebody took their phone out, they would be like, "Put the phone away." I was like, Jesus.
Yo, real talk. Kevin Hart was the first. Kevin Hart was the first event where I saw people, like, they literally had signs. They literally tell you before the show starts. All of his paper cup, red cup boys, whatever, start their set, letting you know, like in a joke or whatever, you will get removed.
Right.
My dude, people still got removed. Before Kevin Hart got on stage, do you know how pissed I would be if we were on a date or something and you got removed?
So stupid. And missed a good show because that show was amazing.
Yo, that was that MSG.
He has a way of storytelling.
It's crazy.
It's just amazing. But
like that shit happened at Bad Bunny. I went to Bad Bunny in Atlanta. Yo, I felt so bad. There was a girl who was there with her friend. The show hadn't even started, and the friend was so drunk already that they escorted her out. I would have had to leave her.
Deuces, bitch. You shouldn't have got
I would have had to be like, love you. Please send me the Uber number that she about to get in, because Bad Bunny hadn't even. Me and Shirley were like, yo, bitch, if you ever do some shit like that to me, well, we don't drink, but I was like,
that I'm gonna fucking make sure you're good, but you're gonna go outside to the car.
I'm gonna send you pictures and I'm gonna give you an update.
Yo, that shit happened to me. I want to back in the day, and I don't know who it was, and even if I remembered, I wouldn't say. But I know that we went to a club. It was me, Nat, and somebody else, and we told them, if you don't get in this club because of your ID, you don't have to wait in the car. And it was freezing out.
Oh wait, back in the day, because that was back in the day. Yo, do you remember what Jessica's fake ID was like? Yo, it was so off and bad that I was like, how do they even let you in? Like, this is nowhere near. Remember Jessica's fake ID?
I get it.
I know, but I forget what the name of the girl was or whatever. I said, bitch, this is bad. This is not even. They didn't even.
We got in everywhere.
That was back before. Now they like, I haven't been to a club in I don't know how long, but now they like have those machines that you fucking put the ID in. Like, you doing too much, bro. You doing too much.
It wasn't legit ID. She got it from DMV.
It just wasn't her.
Right. And her picture, she good.
For sure. It was from DMV. It's just not you.
I mean, we was 18. We had to go to 21. You know. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
What was my weekend? I just flew in from LA. What did I do? Oh, yesterday I celebrated. So
how many birthday parties she had?
Team do too much. So mark my words. She turned 5. For the 6th, we doing a pizza party wherever we live, happen to live at the time. And then we're taking a trip that is really for me, not for her. Because I'm done. She had a birthday party here in her classroom because I was like, easy peasy, done. We land and it's her birthday. And then we have a bounce house party with Miss Popularity's LA-based friends. Okay. Then her dad celebrated her, I think, every day leading up to surgery. And I had to literally, Diana, you know me, I had to have a conversation with her where I was like, I just want to point out and remind you that this is not real life.
Not normal.
I said, you getting picked up at school and going to bounce houses is not real life. That's not what we're doing. Do not ask me.
I want to do like a timeout, because if you guys ever want to do any type of event, and it doesn't have to be my birthday, it could be any time where you guys pick me up, bring me to bounce houses, celebrate me every day.
This is what I'm saying.
I know Sophie was like.
So she has these punch cards. Out of 6, she has 4.
That's good.
Too much.
So what is the Utopia place? What is the Utopia?
Utopia is not only a bounce house, which, by the way, I definitely discovered like 4 businesses that I may have to open in other places. But it's just a bounce house, but it also has like these interactive corners of like, you can go into an ice cream shop, you can go into a this or that. So it's like experiences for the kids.
Oh, cool.
Then I had Elsa visit her on a play date with her bestie. Elsa came, bitch. But you ready? We opened the door. This is total LA. We opened the door and Elsa she got music playing. So she's like, hi, Sophie. Full character. And I'm like, I have a video. And I'm like, is that music? Is that music? She
was ready.
Ready. This woman sang, face painted, made snow, made tattoos, did magic tricks. It was crazy.
She did everything?
Everything. So talented.
Is she an escort?
Wow. I don't know what she does that night.
Imagine she got an OnlyFans and she's doing the same shit
tonight. Exactly. You know what? Actually, do you know how many pervs would be into Elsa at night? I think I need to readdress my business plan. And then we get here and she celebrated with family and her friend. It was just like, I said, okay, it's a wrap. It's done. The birthday month is over. But overcompensating and mommy guilt is what pushed and it was my mom's 78th birthday and she didn't do anything. So, we sang to my mom too. So that was cool. And that's it. Back to life. Back to reality. No, so Jessica, which we'll have on the show soon, I think we mentioned it before. She got a new gig, which is a dream job, which we're so proud of her. And she is a lead choreographer on Cabaret on Broadway. So with Eddie Redmayne, it's so crazy how my sister is one of those. She never talks about these things, and I just happened to see on social media that I was like, wait a minute, is that Eddie Redmayne, the lead in Cabaret? So I texted, I was like, bitch, this is huge. I said, you getting this gig is huge, but this is huge. It's him. It's there's all the actors are prime time. So
she could potentially get like a Tony for choreography.
100%.
Let's put it out in the universe.
And I just got chills because this only leads to more and more Broadway gigs.
Absolutely.
The only downside to Broadway is the schedule. It has no pause.
All the time. Yeah.
You are, the only blackout days are Mondays. Besides that, you are on set. And that part has been really hard on her, especially with JoJo. So JoJo is here because she's on spring break. Excuse me, but that's the one thing about Broadway. And Sundays is double shows. It is relentless. Like, you have to love what you're doing.
And she does.
But it's still taxing. So I don't know where that was going, but yeah, that was my week. And Diana's episode was so good. I cannot wait till she puts her hands on me. No.
Yo, you're going to love it. I actually have to get a couple massages and stuff done before I go down to DR because I'm liking the way my body is looking, but there's some massages.
So with her, you get sculpting?
Yes.
Okay.
Even though in the past she's been like, Diana, you know that if you go down to Colombia, I'm like, I ain't getting surgery. Like, she's like, you know, this will happen, and I'm like, no, just massage it, and I'm okay. And I'm okay with having a couple little cellulites here and there.
But you know what would help you? I don't know if you do after your massages, because I did it after my breast surgery. I got to get better about it, but not. I guess maybe wearing fajas, but like even the waist trainer that you wear to work out right after that massage, that shit works. It's just the consistency.
I have I bought, so there's this lady at my gym that sells all types of fajas, and I actually bought, when I was getting my massages done with Diana, I got a faja, but it's a full body restricting whatever, so I just wanted one for my midsection, and I was able to buy one from this lady at the gym, and I wear it for a few hours a day. It's actually a waist trainer. It's not like the ones that we wear at the gym with the Velcro. It's actually the eye and hook. So I
think for me, that's the only deterrent that is just too tedious to get them shits on, and I'll just be like, I wear mine at night. I found out that you gotta lay down to put it on.
Bitch. And it's much easier to put it on. And I started, because I bought it about 3 weeks ago. I started on the first one. And I am happy to report that I am on the last one. So now I need the small. But I'm also drinking collagen. I'm doing a whole bunch of shit.
What is collagen? So you're adding the powder to something?
No, it's actually, I actually got influenced by Spoiled Child on my Instagram, and it's supposed to be like one of the best collagen, blah 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 blah. So I bought it. I've been taking it. It tastes okay. I mean, compared to the powders and all that, other stuff, that one tastes like mango. So I could add it to like a smoothie or whatever.
Oh, got it. Yo, let me ask you, the juice healer. Shout out to the juice healer. Does he does sea moss, right? But do they add anything like collagen to their sea moss, or are there any other things that they do besides their juices and sea moss?
They do ginger shots. They have
for like boosting
cleanses.
Your immune system.
Yeah, they have cleanses. They have actual juices that you could buy separately, and they have the sea moss. But the sea moss has a whole bunch of different benefits that. But
I gotta do sea moss. I've never done it, but I heard great things about it. I've never done it.
Yeah.
What is what is sea moss good for? Oh, it's all good.
But,
we don't know.
I don't know.
It.
I've never.
We know it's good for you.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good for your body and stuff, but I don't know exactly what it's for. I'm not a CMOS person. But I do know a few people that make it. Kendra also, but Kendra's actually away, taking care of her mom, and she listens to us. So hi, Kendra, honey.
Hi.
And so I think she's away in Mississippi or somewhere, and she's taking care of her mom. But she was the first person actually in Connecticut that I heard about CMOS, and she would like list the benefits, and I mean this is years ago, like pre-COVID. So now there's like a big CMOS situation happening. There's some people with the Irish, there's people with the Jamaican, there's people, but yeah. The juice
supposedly one spoon of it a day can be like really great for you or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It has great benefits. He has a list, and I mean, you could ask him, and he'll let you know. And all his shit tastes good. I'm
gonna reach out to them because I need to do that. So today's episode.
Oh Lord.
What are we talking about today, Diana?
We're talking about daddy issues. We're talking about, daddy issues, whether or not you had, I'm going to say most people that I knew growing up did not have a father figure in their home. So daddy issues derives from that. Not being able to trust a male person because you had nobody around to give you example of what a relationship should be like with a father and what things you should be looking for. So the only things that I saw growing up was my cousins, a couple of my uncles, and then my brother. So I wasn't able, like my dad left around when I was 12. So, and I was his favorite. So.
And you're his twin.
And I'm his twin. So I had a lot of resentment at first, but you have to keep it. And
let me ask
recently
you.
I just found out I do have daddy issues, and I just realized that in the last few years.
Bitch. There's also, I feel like the definition of daddy issues is so broad because you could have had a male presence and it could have been your dad, and you could have also taken in a lot of things that are unhealthy, like, toxic masculinity or the way he treated your mom. It's like, I saw a clip earlier, I think it was Jay Shetty, and it was like, divorce and separation is not great on kids, but also staying in a relationship that is toxic, that is unhealthy, that is not a great example, or is not, have some sort of respect and love, is worse. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, my dad, I've always been transparent. My dad has schizophrenia, and he was always around. Even though my parents divorced when I was like 6, he was always around. He always lived up the street or whatever. Before he got properly diagnosed, he was just always around. He would still take me to ballet. One time my mom found him sleeping in the car, so she brought him in and he became a roommate. So it's like, at the time, you're not thinking anything of it. But as a woman, like when you become a woman and when you look at relationships, you start to realize, like, fuck, I have these patterns and I don't know. It's like you have these conversations with yourself while, like, why am I continuing to believe in this man? Or why am I continuing to try to fix? Or why am I continuing to think that love is caretaking or whatever? And it's when you really sit and do the work, you realize that, of course, it doesn't matter how strong you are or how confident or how independent you are. There's these things when we're raised that are ingrained in us, especially under 10 and under 8 years old. Those are the things that stay pictured in your mind, and it's almost worse when you've done the work, because that doesn't mean you're able to make different decisions necessarily. If you've done the work, like for me, it's like, fuck, I identified my daddy issues probably going on like 6 years. But most recently, I was like, holy shit, I have really chipped away at my love language and transformed it into something else, because that's all I saw. And then I do remember in my healing process that I really resented my dad for doing things like not coming to volleyball games, not being at my sports events, not being there for prom, like all the things that I don't know if society sets it or it's something that, you see other people have it and you're like, damn, I never had that. I still don't. I respect that my dad is schizophrenic. It's obviously puts him in a whole nother category. He's doing so much better, but he's never going to have a emotional conversation with me, or he's never going to be able to tap into that. So it's a little different from like, let's say a deadbeat dad, or like just a man who doesn't care. But that being said, it doesn't heal his absence, if that makes sense. It doesn't make the absence better. It just makes it more understandable and justifiable. But it's like, yo, I got crazy fucking daddy issues.
And it's crazy how the term is usually used for women. You know what I'm saying? And then you think about it and it's like, well, shit. If you know, it's being classified for women supposedly, but if the dad is not there for his son, then he's not showing him what relationships should look like. He's not showing him that it's okay to cry. He's not showing him that it's okay to be, you know, sometimes vulnerable, right? But those fathers probably didn't have a father either, because at the same time, they're always talking about breaking the chain, right? So if they don't know any better, then they're not going to do better, right? So it's good to see now that there's so many people, I want to say like in my generation and forward, there's still some deadbeat dads, right, that don't want to do shit and they just disappear off the face of the earth, whatever they drop off the face of the earth. But then there are those guys that are like, you know what, I didn't have my dad growing up, but I'm going to do better. I'm going to make sure that when I have children, I'm going to be there for my child, whether or not, you know, they're doing it 100%, whatever, that's their issue, that's their problem, whatever. Because they, you know, people are always going to have an opinion about how people parent, about how people do this, A, B, and C, whatever. But to me, if a father is there and he's able to share all those things that I said about being vulnerable, about making sure that, you know, it's okay to have feelings and all that stuff, then I think that's a win for me. Because no matter what, growing up, you're going to have issues with your parents about just things, period. They didn't let me go here. They didn't let me go there. I can't stand you. And I know, but behind the door, I used to be like this to my mother. You know what I'm saying? So, and then she opened the door, I'd be like, she'd be cussing me out, and I'd be like, just behind the door.
I hate
But I hate that they coined daddy issues for us
women,
and it could be for anybody.
And right? By the way, it is, you're right. Cause I remember I had this conversation with a friend of mine, a man, and I was like, you know, I mentioned the word daddy issues and he got so offended. He was like, what do you mean? I have a good relationship with my dad, but I know the truth about their relationship. I know the truth about his dad's history. I know the truth about his dad's history with the mom. So it's like, I'm like, seriously? It's like, my dad's always been there. It's like this, like masculine, like, what are you talking about? My dad. So the dad was always there, but the dad cheated. The dad had substance abuse problems. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, those are things that people think that they don't absorb, and you absolutely absorb. Mm-hmm. It's like, that doesn't mean he's not a nice guy. I'm not saying he's not a nice guy, but you have to identify all pieces of someone to really kind of start understanding what makes you respond and what makes you be the type of man you are, father you are, partner you are, or your inability to. It comes from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But it was, I'll never forget. I was like, it was almost like he got offended, and I didn't mean it in that way. I was just like, well, you know, we all have daddy issues. I'm sure you probably still working on discovering yours. And it was like, what you mean? And I was like, oh shit.
Just because your father was there doesn't mean that you can't have daddy issues. There could be a father that's physically there, but psychologically and emotionally is absent, or physically absent, you know, working 2 or 3 jobs. Just growing up, I know that I was like, there were some families or some of my friends' family structures that I thought I knew I'm a single mom off the rip. And then I see the dad and I'm like, oh shit, your father came to the game, and like, yeah, he's off today. My father's with us. I was like, oh, But, back in the day, people were like juggling 2 or 3 jobs trying to just make a living, just trying to get through. You know what I'm saying? So him not being there is also an issue, right? Because if you need basketball equipment, whatever the hell, the mother's still juggling and doing all those things and making sure that stuff is getting done, and just because the father is there doesn't mean that you can't have daddy issues. I know mad people that had their father in their life and they got daddy issues. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like you can have it or not have it because your father. You know what I'm saying? So to me, like I said, the last 3 years was when I started like, oh shit, no wonder I act like this. No wonder I'm such a type A like personality. Like I relate more to men than I do to women. Like I have like conversation, and don't get me wrong, I can have great conversations with women. I'm not saying that. But usually just growing up, I had better relationships with men, right? But then when it came into being into a relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, oh man, I'm a difficult person because I'm just like, I don't want that. Like, I just want to have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like if there was no wanting to commit, I was commitment. Like I was not trying to do it.
Phobic.
But that came from that. That came from my dad, taking off on us and going to build a life with somebody else. And then it didn't work. And then he wanted to come back. And my mother was like, no, she ain't trust him. So she never took him back. You know what I'm saying? So that right there is like, well, shit, I shouldn't trust men either. If my dad did it to my mom, then why the fuck should I trust anybody? You know what I'm saying? So I didn't even give people a chance. It was always usually that I needed to get chased type of situation. And I honestly did not know it. Like I had a conversation with my husband, I want to say like a month ago. And I was like, yo, I believe I got daddy issues for real. Like, and he was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? Everybody, I think a lot of people in our circles got it. And they just like you said, men, they're not going to be like, oh, I don't have daddy issues because it's been coined for us. It's been coined for women. So of course,
it's also a very weak term. It's almost like it's like seriously you have daddy issues, because it's funny what you're saying is complete opposite from me. What I saw was keep taking back, keep taking him back, keep taking him back, keep taking him back, and it was like she went through that moment of like decisiveness when they got divorced, like on paper, through legal processes to get a divorce. But then, and it's crazy because it's something to be said about my mom where she's still dealing with a lot of baggage and generational trauma, but it's like she really believes that continuing to take him back is a positive personality trait, because I think she really believes it makes her a good person. Because of my dad's mental circumstances. But it wasn't until adulthood where I realized that she created, and into no fault of her own, because it's always like generationally based. It doesn't skip. There's no exception to the rule. She created in me and my sister this mindset of, no matter how much I preach about seeing red flags, you kind of do this and you look in between and you see the potential, or you allow yourself to be like, well, if he only did this, well, this doesn't happen all the time. Well, but when we're good, we're great. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you have a conversation with her, even now, my parents remarried 13 years ago to each other. And I was like, why? Like, you don't have to get married. Why? Just like enjoy. This was when I took time off of work and I really got him help, and we went through it there. I mean, it was so much. My dad hadn't been to a doctor in like 25 years. He finally got the MRI. That's when he was diagnosed with the schizophrenia. But before then, it was always like, oh, él es loco, él se habla solo. Very like
very
ignorant,
very Latino,
like.
Déjalo, he'll get better.
Déjalo, que él se habla solo. And I'm like, even that, right, like I have memories of my dad in the basement yelling at himself. And I'd be like, Bobby, who are you talking to? Oh, nobody. Mind you, they were already divorced. It just so happens that he always felt like he could come in and out, and my mom let him feel that way. So it wasn't like he was forcing himself into our house. He was really made to feel like he can come in and out, which again, as a woman, I'm like, I would never allow that now in any relationship I'm in. And I would never want that to be the example for my daughter. But I can see how I would have allowed it maybe in my 30s. You know what I'm saying? Before I kind of started doing this work where I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, this is not, like, at some point, like, you got to cut it. Cut it off. Cut it off.
Yeah, but that comes from like generation too. Like,
just making
sure that it's like, oh, well, as long as the family is together, you know, your emotional stability is not the priority. Your heart and what you're feeling and you being happy is not the priority. You have to make sure that these kids are happy. You have to make sure that, you know what I'm saying? When in essence, these kids are seeing a dysfunctional relationship, which in turn turns into daddy issues.
Bitch. So every therapist I've been with, right? And I just started with a therapist recently. And within the hour, I think he said to me, Rocio, when are you going to put yourself first? I think he said it like 6 times. And I was like, And I was like, but this, even me, Rocio, like accomplished, smart, thinking I've done the work. No, bitch, I'm still doing the work because when confronted with real life like questions, I immediately like justify why I'm behaving the way I'm behaving, but I'm justifying the way I'm behaving. But I tell myself, I know I'm doing it, so I'm not being toxic because I know I'm making the decision to do it, but it's toxic because at the end of the day, I'm putting myself second, third, fourth, fifth, last. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not until someone brings it to your attention where you're like, oh, fuck, yeah, maybe. Like, I still have so much work to do. And I think we are brought up to feel like when you put yourself first, I feel like this whole self-care and putting yourself first is new language. I don't know if it's because of my age or this new wave, but you're made to feel guilty, which is also daddy issues.
Yep. And if you feel like you've never or that you haven't shown any symptoms of daddy issues, you know I went to the Google.
Guess again, bitch. Because Diana's about to hit you with the facts.
I'm about to hit you with some shit.
And if you check the box to any of these, bitch, join the club.
Join the motherfucking club.
When we come out with merch, it's going to have daddy issues with a box. Check. Bright red. Okay?
Daddy issues. So, if you're possessive or clingy, right? If you demand an overabundance of love and assurance all the time.
I already got 2 checks, bitch. 2 check boxes.
You want sex all the time.
Check.
You're only interested in dating older men.
Fuck. Phil was 15 years older. Damn. Check.
You're afraid of being alone. You
I'm
repeatedly choose to be, this is not good. You repeatedly choose to be with abusive men, whether it's verbally or physically. So that's not my situation.
Mine either.
I want to say, I have a few checks too. I'm not gonna say which one.
Bitch, I admitted to all mine. You better fucking admit to yours, nigga. Ninja.
I'm not possessive and clingy. I'm the opposite. The moment and granted, I've been in a marriage for 20 plus. I mean, for three years, about to be 4 years. But we've been together for 20 plus years. And my husband could probably tell you that there's been some times in our marriage where I get these little mood swings, and not because of age. This has happened throughout my whole life, where sometimes I get like detached. And I'm just like, what, like detached, like leave me alone type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So I do the opposite of the clingy. Like I want to be chased. You know what I'm saying? And then the demand for overabundance of love. So that too. That the opposite. I'm not a hand holder. I'm not a person to show love, but I can do it. But I am not a person to show love. That's not something that was done in my family. So to me, it's like, when you're going to show love and stuff, you do it, right? Every once in a while. But people that are like all over each other, kissing and doing all that stuff, to me, that's weird. But I see it as but I see it as a healthy thing. So then I go back and myself, and I'm like, oh shit. So it's not normal for me to think that it's weird. It's the opposite of what it is, right? So the dating older men, opposite again. When I was single, I wanted young bucks. Like, I don't even know why. Because they're fucking annoying. But I just wanted to make sure.
Because you were young, so they would be real young.
Well, I was in my
20s?
I was in my 20s dating a 19-year-old, but
bitch.
Yeah. And then he was hard to get rid of.
Probably amazing sex.
Again, I am married, and
I know, but he was hard to get rid of because they're young and ignorant and so highly emotional.
At that time, I was living with Nat in Manchester, and this motherfucker, like, he had a motorcycle, kept going, and I was like, I wonder who's that motorcycle? Because it was the spring, and people were out on their motorcycles, and then there was a crash in front of my house, and then we go to the front of our house because we're like, oh shit, this dude got into a car accident in front of my house, so it was him riding up and down the whole time. I had to like almost get a fucking
what?
Yeah, I almost had to get like a
restraining order.
A restraining order.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, after that, I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm good with it. I'm good with the youngins. But
I would hope.
Always was. And now, what? I want to say maybe like 6 or 7 months after that's when I met my husband. So there it is. If not, I would have probably still been on the proverbial for the young bucks.
But it's funny because I do also think it's like we go through these stages. I think it's like Kristen Cavallari, for instance, right? She's dating this really younger guy. I think he's like in his early 20s and she's probably my age, like late 30s. She's like late 30s. And it's like, she's a mom already. She's been married, whatever. And he's one of these Montana boys. I guess they're like a social media phenom. But he and his boys just look young and obnoxious. But you can just tell she's going through this phase where she's like, he's young, he's hot, I'm getting good dick.
Time. Yeah.
And I'm not trying to marry him. I'm trying to have a good time. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because we've said it before on the podcast.
She's always
been a podster. Yeah, exactly. Which I'm not mad, okay?
Yeah.
But we've always been transparent on this podcast. Yeah. And she knows what's good for her brand too. Okay, bitch? She ain't stupid. But we've also been transparent on the podcast that if you in your 40s, these dudes out here, a huge percentage of them, unless you work out and are healthy and take care of yourself, are popping pills. And they cannot keep up with that natural stamina of a woman who's over 39, 40 years old. It's just the science. I always say God has a sense of humor because it's like, that's crazy. Huh?
It's just a science.
It's a scientific fact. Scientific fact. Scientific fact. And let me tell y'all.
No. Yes.
Cannot keep up. Cannot keep up.
Yeah. There is. And I think honestly, if those conversations need to be had, like they need to have those conversations with each other and maybe even say, oh, I take this pill, doesn't help. It doesn't work for me. But that would never happen.
Bitch, I literally was about to say.
They're not like us where we're like, oh, that lube or that
or this gummy. I'll be like, be careful with this gummy because it's about to make you mad horny. There's a window. Like it's gonna help you sleep. It's gonna help you sleep.
We talk about shit. We talk about fucking. We talk about everything. Women are open to talk about, and I mean, I don't talk about all those things with everybody. So, husband, relax. But what I'm saying is, there you do have your people that you can talk to. So if you guys can talk about whatever bullshit y'all talk about, because sometimes, I get around in the barbershop and stuff, and I get around some guys that are really comfortable. And I'm not going to say the barbershop, because the barbershop has gotten really family oriented now. But I get around a certain group of guys, maybe guys that I grew up with or my cousins, where they feel comfortable and they talk about stuff, right? And there's certain people that do talk about, and they're transparent and they talk about shit. But mostly it's bullshit. Like motherfuckers still comparing Jordan to motherfucking LeBron and Kobe.
P.S. Which is but bitch, this is the definition of what we're talking about. Their conversation is so capped and limited because the first step is admitting you got daddy issues, bruh.
Right.
If your dad wasn't one of these, and I don't want to use it exceptional because it doesn't make you non-exceptional as a dad, but it's like you said something at the beginning of the podcast where you're like, that it's okay to cry, that it's okay to do all these things. That is a great example. If you could have had your dad around and he could have been one of those guys that was like, don't cry, be a man. You get what I'm saying? Right. That's a daddy issue too on the other spectrum.
On the other side, yep.
Or absolutely. You're the man of this house. You got to become the man of this. Like... Okay, the man, what does that entail? What does that mean? And if all I'm seeing is how you're the man of this house and you lack in so many areas, that's how I become a toxic partner.
Right. And then that's all
because the only conversation I see you have with your boys is about the Jordans.
Right.
While you work a job that it's going to take you 40 fucking hours to buy a pair of Jordans. What am I learning?
Girl, I want to say that the first father-daughter healthy relationship I saw, I was already like 19, 20 years old.
I don't know if I've ever seen.
And then the family wasn't even Spanish. They were white, I believe. They were white.
Right.
They were white. And I was totally surprised at the way this bitch was talking to her parents.
That part.
You get away with just talking shit to your parents and they don't say nothing? Like, you can say, Mom, give me the fucking Jordans already! Or, Mom, I told you I was fucking going down the street. Why didn't you take my... and I'm sitting there like...
Bitch.
But on the other side of the token, like, they asking me what my parents do for a living. I'm like, well, it's just my mom. And then they're like... Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, why are you sorry, bitch? You ain't do nothing. But you know what I'm saying? But for me to see the way her dad was with her, and I met her through AAU basketball and continued the relationship. But the way that her father was able to be like, you gotta relax. Like, everything's gonna be okay. Like, why are you being like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, for him to bring himself down to an emotional... to try to like connect with his daughter, I was like, I've never seen this before. Like, wow,
what's crazy that you just
like at the zoo.
That? I think Phil and Sophie is probably one of my first real healthy, even considering all his generational baggage and stuff. This man's patience and like, first of all, patience with me, but then when I had the baby and his patience, how he comes down and speaks to her, how he's patience with me, how he's constantly, he does struggle in the sense of like overcompensating. He thinks he could buy her the world, but he's so patient. She'll talk to him and he'll talk to her for hours, just talking about nothing. Even sometimes when he's on meds and he's falling half asleep because she's at the age where she can't really tell that he's like on meds, but he's still so patient where I'm like, wow.
I knew Phil was going to be a great dad. I knew you were going to be a great mom. I knew when, because Sophie's exceptional anyway, but when she started walking, right? And to me, I don't judge people the way they parent or whatever. But the moment that I saw him go down to her level and speak to her, like, so she can see him in his eyes, I was like, oh, that was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Because so many parents, they like this, right? So with your child, imagine being parented by a 6'7" basketball player. You're You know what I'm saying? So if you bring it down to the level, so when I saw him doing that, and then just the way that he takes his time and make sure that she, like, one of the things that my daughter told me, which she was like, Mom, I want to thank you for always thinking that I could sing. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, because back in the day I used to sing and you used to be like, go ahead, Mama. Yes, you got that, right? And then my kids used to be like, shut up, you can't sing, you know, and I'd be like, do your thing. So she'd be singing now and she'll be like, Ma, even though I'm not like a singer, you led me to believe that I was a singer. So listen, I'm going to sing wherever I'm at. I was like, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of energy that I see with you and with Phil. And that's why when Sophie walks into a room, she's like, I belong here, motherfuckers. I belong here. And if I don't, I'm making room, bitches. I'm making room, bitches.
Yo, she's a lot, kid. She's a lot. She's a lot.
I don't think she's a lot.
She's a lot. She's a lot. No, she's a lot. Okay, she's a lot.
I always be sad when a 5-year-old puts you on check.
Yo, she's a lot.
She's put me on check a couple times.
Yeah, she's a lot. And it's like there's times where she says things and I'll be like, it's like that teetering that line of like, I don't want to stifle her because, you know, we're dealing in my family with another one who is like having self-confidence issues. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there's this fine line also, like mothering for me. I don't know if for you, it was like you ask questions, you say something, you don't talk. So it's this like, I think you also know your kid enough to be like, oh, she's just being sassy. She's fetching. Or she'll respond in ways that you're like, fuck, she makes you think about that she's observing, that she can see, you know, like she's made comments before where I'm like, damn, about songs or asking questions about songs, or she'll be like, what kind of love are they singing about? Like daddy and you love, or like friendship love? And I'm like she watched the Jennifer Lopez, she loves musical theater, but she watched the Jennifer Lopez, which I'm not going to comment about, whatever the artistry. I thought it was great.
Her right now.
They are killing her, poor thing. But I mean, it's like, bruh, she's in her 50s. She's still working. Like, some point you got to give her some credit. But Sophie watched it and she was so enthralled with the story and the flower and the hummingbird. And like when I walked her through kind of the narrative that it was trying to paint, she has watched it like 7 times. And now to her, she's like, oh, love and this, because I always want to show her too that romantic love and platonic love are different. Because I never saw that. I never saw healthy romantic love. So I feel like even now, if I'm about to be 44 now with my new season, that I'm still discovering what it is that I want in a romantic love, because I never saw healthy. I still haven't seen healthy. And I don't even know if I've ever experienced healthy, real healthy romantic love, you know, where it's like partnership and passion and conversation. Obviously not perfect, but I feel like with me and Phil, we have a great friendship and partnership, but I don't know if we were ever passionately in love. You know what I mean? So yeah. Part of my daddy issues, like first of all, my mom is 78 and I love my mom respectfully. I have never seen her in love. And I'm not going to cry. It makes me so sad, because I really feel like everyone deserves to have that at least one time in your life where you are so in love that it almost becomes toxic, that you just want to be with this person, you know? I've never seen that.
I've seen my mother in love. I want to say amazing. Earlier in my mom and dad's relationship, I saw some bad things, which I would not share. I saw some bad things. But I do want to say that my dad when we were a family, he made the best of whatever we had, right? We would go do cookouts at the co-park. We would have like this little tiny grill with like 3 or 4 burgers and 2 hot dogs, you know, and we would have like this whole thing. He would bring a ball. We would do like a whole thing. And I could tell in the way that they looked at each other. I'm really big at the way people look at me, and I know whether or not they actually love me, right? Whether it's a friendship, a relationship, or whatever it is, right? So I remember those looks between my mother and my father, and then I remembered when it stopped, right? So then after that, I was like, shit, my mother has 3 kids. Like, she's so awesome. She's so dope. Is she going to find love again? And she did. And then I was able to see a different type of love with somebody else, and then him seeing love in us and loving us. Right? Because that was the kicker. My mother's like, if my kids, I'm not fucking with, you know what I'm saying? And then, so that was a way of me actually getting in with my husband, because I'm like, yo, if you can't accept my kids, then what are we doing here?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a package deal. Like, you just can't, and you will not meet my kids unless I'm thinking we're serious. But, so yeah, I don't know. Like, this is it's so endearing and what you call it for me, because I've been in love a lot of different times at a lot of different levels, right? Because like you said, there's some romantic love, and then there's just that love that's just, there's some lust love too. You know what I'm saying? Where you're just like, you know? And you know,
where you're like, this shit doesn't make sense.
And then in real life, this shit is not gonna work. Like,
at all.
You start thinking about, okay, so if we go out together in person, like, if people see us together, this shit ain't gonna work. Like, are you fucking crazy? So then why do you continue to fucking put energy into it?
Because there's something about pheromones and chemistry and connection that you're like, this doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make
but
sense.
I guess my question to you is that love or is that lust?
Girl, in a couple of my instances, I didn't know what the fuck it was, honestly. It scared me. It scared the fuck out of me.
So and maybe the scary part could translate it as more love, because I think lust isn't scary. I think lust is like carnal. It's like instinctual. And I don't know if you'd be scared of, I don't know if I'd be scared of lust. I think the scary part is once you can tap into my heart and emotions, and that's where I get scared, because I'm like, I don't want to get hurt.
Right. But that was my thing too. And it was more like, I don't want to hurt you. Because I know how I am. You know what I'm saying? I know how I am.
Of that. I need some of that.
So please, if I fucking leave you alone, just let me be. Because if you come after me, that's just going to turn me off, and I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying? So that, I'm telling you, twisted, just.
Yo, for real. Because earlier you said, I want to be left alone, but I enjoy being chased.
Right. There you go.
So it's kind of psychotic. Because I want to be left alone. It's almost, tell me if I'm wrong. I want to be left alone from you being pussy energy, but I want to be chased with masculine, aggressive energy.
Yeah. And don't give up. Even if I'm turned off. Just find out. Just
okay,
with
that, my friend, is toxic.
I know.
Because
that's
I'm dealing with that right now. That's toxic. But it's fine. I'm not saying it. But I wanted to ask you something you said earlier, because you were talking about your parents and you were talking about your dad, and you don't have to answer, but you said he left when you were 12. I think my question was, I know my question. Do you feel like your daddy issues, now that you're working through them, that were before 12 are different from after 12? It's like, do you feel like you can point out daddy issues you had when you observed them together, and then daddy issues once he left?
I think once he left.
That's where you feel like the daddy issues stem from.
Yeah, because some of the shit that happened in their actual relationship, I would not put up with at all. Like, I'm not dealing with physical abuse. I'm not dealing with verbal abuse. I'm not dealing with it. I will fucking remove myself.
I feel like I've never, knock on wood, thank you, Jesus, and we never victimize victims, but I feel like I've never had that, but I do feel like that would be the line where I'm like, no.
Oh, absolutely.
No.
Absolutely. There was this one time where I was dating this guy in high school, and he didn't like that I was done with him. And so he went to go choke me in my bedroom. Like he put his hand around my neck, and he didn't get to choke me because when I reached.
I'm sorry, he didn't get to choke you because right when you went to kill him,
I reached up and got the curtain rod.
Because FYI, shout out to Savage House. Diana is strong as shit. Okay? And not that you got to be strong. You could be a tiny peanut because when that energy comes in.
That energy come in. Forget it. Girl, it was
be
almost
like ninja.
It was instinctual. Like
he was doing it to hurt you. It wasn't he was mad playful.
No. He came over because he could not understand why we broke up, and I told him, let's go in my room because I don't want my mom, because he was crying doing all this shit. And I was like, let's go in my room, let's calm down. And I was like, I don't want to be with you because I just want to be by myself, is what I said. And he said, he got mad. He was like, ah! And
I think women can really want to be by themselves. I don't think men believe that you want to really be by yourselves because we heal different from them. And he's thinking be by yourself means you want to be with someone else.
Right. And I wanted to be by myself. I just didn't.
Yeah, but men don't work like that. When they break up, you know how they heal? They go get the next bitch.
I fucked that dude up with that fucking curtain rod. And it wasn't a regular curtain rod. My mother had just gotten the bars. Like those were the bars.
Like iron.
Like I grabbed that shit and I was like, I don't even know how many times I hit him. He was like this. I hit him a whole bunch of fucking, and he was real fair skinned. So his whole arm, his head. Then he ran out and my mother was like, what happened? I said, he tried to choke me. And she was like, you want me to call your cousins?
Yes. Sans Project on 911. This is a public service announcement.
And I was
like, Ramos, square up.
I said, nah, I think I got him.
So he never came back.
No, I saw him in school and stuff, but he was scared of me. And then he actually heard my mom as he was leaving and had beeped me, because back in the day I had my beeper. And he was like, can you please not send your cousins to me? And I was like, you'll never know. Head on a swivel, motherfucker.
Beware.
Head on a swivel. And actually, I didn't tell my cousins about that because if they would have even known, they would have.
It didn't matter if you told them and then said, don't do nothing to him. I beat him up. They would not care. It doesn't matter.
It was more telling my mom, like, don't tell your sisters because then your sisters are going to tell her kids. Part. Yeah, I was like, no. Mm-mm. But I've been a part of a couple of moves where the person was either being abused verbally or physically, and I'm like, how serious are you about leaving? And they say, wait, I'm sorry. Serious.
Oh, I'm sorry. You've been helping a friend get out of a situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the record,
no, but I never come by
Diana
myself.
Seems to like putting herself in situations.
I never come by myself.
You my friend, girl, and we gonna go do this, but we gotta bring lots of backup. Okay.
Well,
I'm there to supervise the move, and strategically, we better do it while this man is working.
Oh, they were both there.
Because Diana liked to show up at the men's house where he wearing a robe and she wearing a robe, and it's a whole nother lady. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
No, on both occasions, they were ready to go, and I brought my cousins and a U-Haul truck, and we packed shit. We put shit in, and the people were saying that one of the people was like, "No, that's not mine. That's not mine." My cousin's like, "We don't give a fuck. We're taking everything."
Yo, by the way, that's
and
a movie.
Guys were like this the whole time. They didn't say nothing.
He's like, I don't care if it's mine. Take it. You can have it. Sure, fine.
Yeah. And both of them to this day, they'd be like, yo, thanks to you and your cousins. If not, I would have still been in that fucking abusive relationship. And
thank God your cousins have daddy issues.
My cousin Calvin, I love him to death. My cousin Calvin got in the face of the second move, and he was like,
Calvin is also huge.
You go near her, and I am going to fucking kill you.
And this is of GP because of you, and this is your friend.
Yeah, well, they knew both of them. My cousins, one here in the fold.
Yeah,
the same energy will go for you, Rocio. The same energy will pop off.
Well, thank God I don't need. Thank God I don't need supervising.
Granted, we're a little older, but the shit would happen.
We're moving a little slower, but the fear is coming.
The brain still works. No, but yeah,
and
but
Calvin
I
is
did
big
guy, and all
they
my
all
cousins were
are
always big, tall, and they hate it because none of them are physically abusive. None of us had really had any type of, you know how
Thank
families
God.
have like
Thank God.
physical
Yes, that
abuse
one.
or sexual
Yeah.
abuse, right?
I'm so thankful in
Thank
my family
goodness we
too.
were so open about just our relationships and just being able, like the way that our moms brought us up all tightly knit, and we were able to always share, and this person's bothering me or this person is bothering me. Like, I mean, granted, there were a couple times my cousin would be like, I need you to go fuck this bitch up, and you just go and fuck the bitch up. I'm so glad I was never tasked.
I was gonna say, because now
Thank
I want to
God.
know more. Like, how does that? You just show up and be like, I got it. I'm
Yeah,
about
you
to
were
fuck
fucking
you
with my
up.
cousin, so you just hit him. You fuck him up. Better example. So my brother was on a
Wait,
bicycle
I'm
one time.
sorry.
Hold on. So my
Wait.
brother was on a bicycle one time. This was years ago. I was still in high school. So he was on his bicycle. So my brother was probably like 9 or 10, maybe 11 years old. He's
Oh
riding his
shit!
bicycle.
I don't want to know.
And this kid that might have been like 13, 14 years old was talking shit to my cousins. And he little, so he knew that my cousins couldn't do nothing to him. And he was talking shit. Oh, fuck you. I'm getting. And then, so my brother came on a bike, and my cousins go. One of my cousins go, hey, yo, Nag, take care of this motherfucker, right? My brother gets off the bike, picks the kid up, slams him, gets back on the bike, and goes home. The dude was on the floor like, I was like, well, he told you. Stop talking shit. He told you leave. They told you leave a long time ago.
Why you running your mouth, little one?
They told you shut up. They told you they're going to get somebody to fuck you up. If my cousins say I'm going
and they gonna get someone to fuck you up on the bike, and guess what? They gonna give Nag a lollipop or an ice cream after that, and he be good.
Shit. They be like, yo, I need you to go fuck this bitch up on this street, whatever. Okay. I was part of a
talk
couple
about daddy issues,
bruh.
Whoa.
Yo, we made it out of the skin of the teeth, because let me tell you, people could have honestly like had guns, weapons, and came back and tried to retaliate. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, so much of the shit that we did.
But that's true. You're right. That's how neighborhood wars started back in the day. Literally. Oh my gosh. And then it becomes like, you can't pass this street, you can't pass that street. Well, starts that simple.
So there's Bedford Street, and then there's a park,
I remember.
And then Brook Street. So there was a war between Bedford Street and Brook Street.
Literally. Like, oh. God forbid you got to go to the bodega.
Oh my God. Yeah, the bodega was in the middle of both streets. That was a long time ago, though. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But oh yeah.
Wow.
So daddy issues run like deep. And you even see it in the adults. I mean, my uncles and my dad, like, you know, my dad. And it's so funny because my father told me that his father killed himself. I don't know if I shared this.
You told me this, bitch. I was like, that's not exactly what happened.
So for years, I was like,
so you thought there was suicidal energy in your family?
There's mental shit. People are probably going to want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, just want to make sure I keep track of the history, you know, because you never get family history shit, right? It's up to recently that I learned, and thank goodness it's not genetic, but my uncle passed away from dementia. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I started reading up on, okay, is it genetic? You know what I'm saying? But when he said that, I was like, oh shit. So there's anxiety on my mom's side. There's depressing behavior on my dad's side, you know, because a lot of my uncles and even a couple of my cousins and I, like, sometimes we want to be left alone. We don't post nothing on Facebook, Instagram, nothing. And it'll be a couple of days and I'm good. But it's a family thing, right? So when he said that, I was like, oh shit, this motherfucker. I love my father, but this motherfucker. I asked him probably like a year ago, Papi, and I think I said it before, Papi, you know, how was it that Grandpa killed himself?
Babe, was this when you were at the river and it came out?
Yeah. And I'm like, you know, I just want to know because
mad serious, Diana, the therapist.
I just want to know. I want to know, so like that, you know, if I see signs, not just in our family, but you know, anybody or whatever. And he was like, what? He went fishing and he got a he got a fish out of the Connecticut River. Must have been a bad fish. He ate it and he died. I said, well, that's not him killing himself. What the fuck? Wait a minute.
That story is like completely not suicide.
Right. So when he first initially
in your
told
head,
me,
you thought he had thrown
ago,
himself into the river?
Well, years ago when he told me, I'm like, did he shoot himself? Did he hang himself? Did he throw himself into the river? How did he do it? Right. So it took me years. It took me years to ask how he did it, because I was already traumatized that my grandpa that I've never met killed himself. Right. So I was like, damn, was it my grandma? Was it shit? What the fuck was it? No, okay, you know, se fue pescar. He went fishing. He got a bad fish from the Connecticut River.
You're like nothing. Like nothing. And you're like,
you should have followed up when you told the story. I said, what? You know what? I went just like this. I said, you know what? You crazy as fuck. I'm done. He was like, why? I'm dead. Because you told me he killed him. He said, because he did. I was like, no.
He died.
He died because he ate something bad. He didn't kill himself.
But by the way, that's awful.
Yeah. And he had a lot of kids, too. He left a lot of kids behind.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, the upside is that he didn't feed the fish to any of his kids.
Oh, shit.
Yo.
Lord Jesus.
But I just had a thought about daddy issues. That I feel like what I discovered too in getting older and in this continuous healing process is that I'm still working. My mom and I are working on our relationship. We used to be like this, and then I became a mom and things kind of shifted. And I'm working. I don't know if she's working, but I'm working on really I'm working on my life in general, where I really, and Diana knows this, I'm intentional about finding joy and staying and checking in with myself on how things feel and blah, blah, blah. But I went through, and I still am healing from it, but I found myself not having respect for my mom as a woman. So different, right? I was like, what is it that is like, I got to the point where I didn't even want to hear nothing she had to say. Like it was just like I was done. And then I realized when I was working with Ellen that the woman who was the president of the company, I mean, long story short, there was extramarital affairs happening, blah, 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 blah. And Jesus. I was like, what? Why can't I respect? I have no respect for this woman. And I realized that I couldn't respect her as a woman because of how she was portraying herself separate from professional at the office. And I was like, my disconnect with her is respecting her as a woman. When I can't respect you as a woman, I don't care how smart you are, where you went to school, how many degrees you have. I cannot connect with you. Like I literally cannot connect with you. And when I say respect as a woman, it's owning your flaws, owning your greatness, owning whatever. So this is a woman who's president of the company, and I saw her crying, run out of the office chasing the person she was you know what I'm saying? Like there was just a lot of things that were toxic in that work environment that should not have been in a professional environment. But because I had to work so closely with her, it was like, I can't even have a conversation with you. But I realized in that moment that I was having trouble respecting my mom as a woman because I felt like she stayed and continued to stay and continued to stay. And then I started thinking about the fact that knowing that my dad wasn't right, like this is before the diagnosis of schizophrenia, knowing there were screws missing, my mom would let my dad pick me up and take me places. Like Jessica never really participated. My dad would take me, great places. Like we would go go-karting and mini golfing, and he would take me to the museum and take me to the ballet and take me to ballet classes. Like but this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So he would. But I realized that I would hold his hand to protect him and him, not for him to protect me.
Oh, shit.
So in my head, I was 7, 6, 8, and I would hold his hand in Vernon. I'll never forget, at the go-kart mini golf place in Vernon. Till this day, I remember. And my dad, every now and then, se salía con una mierda de la boca. He would see someone walk by and be like, motherfucker. You know, like, loco. But I felt like if I held his hand, he would feel connected to me and he would like be more present. But as a child, I didn't think anything of it. As an adult, I was like, yo, what the fuck kind of pressure is that to put on a kid One. And two, what were you so distracted with or in your depression or in your right mind that you would let this person who's clearly not sane take your child somewhere? Honestly, that's like me letting Phil take Sophie when he's on pain meds. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't. He's not in the right frame of mind. Can they spend time? Absolutely. Am I going to be there? 100%. Right. But it's literally like me letting him take a fucking oxy and then take her to the bounce house. No. Like, what is it that I'm dealing with that makes me feel like, okay, go take her, just get her out of my hair? Yeah. So, and I've had this conversation with my mom, and she's kind of owned up to it in her way. But I know I went through that daddy issues leading to mommy issues leading to, I just don't believe in making excuses for how we live, but you do have to make peace and surrender and recognize things, and you decide whether you want to use them as a crutch or whether you want to fucking break the chain and learn what to do, even if you're not a parent, how you live or what you can do to not reproduce these actions.
Yep, because low self-esteem, what are other things? Stress, worry, depression, anxiety, all these things that come up and have been plaguing our community, Latinos or not. Like, we have a lot of the same things that happen with African American, their family structures. Like, just me growing up in the north end of Hartford and seeing that a lot of my friends had the same issues with not having a father figure there, and sometimes not even a mother figure. Sometimes grandparents were bringing up the kids. So there was a lot of daddy, mommy, grandma issues, you know. So the good thing is that there's therapy, and I know that we are big on therapy and being able to talk something through and working stuff through, because at the end of the day, we are not perfect. Everybody has some shit. And I always say, if you're perfect, then fuck you. I want nothing to do with you. I am only here for the broken people.
And by the way, if you think you're perfect, you're the most broken of us all.
For real. Pussy probably
right. Chafy ass pussy, bitch. Ain't no rainbow bright coming out of that. Little, big balls, little penis. Go somewhere.
He'll take an ass motherfucker.
Calm down. The fingers only work for a little bit. Okay.
And on
that note, you know we always circle back to that dick.
We talking about daddy issues, the dick come up.
Oh, before we close, I mean, it's all repetitive, but I just remembered I have a friend whose dad was in the house, whose dad is like a professional, whose dad is in like the mental health field. And I strongly feel, and so does she, and I hope she's working on it. We don't really keep in touch that much, but he's the one who gave her all her insecurities about her size, about how she looks, about and it's like this, I don't know if it was a Latino masculinity thing, but it was never like, I think when you have a hard time being emotional and sensitive with yourself, obviously you can't do it as a parent. And of course, again, not to make excuses, but they all have these generational traumas, but 100%. She is one of the most beautiful humans I ever met and one of the most insecure people. And her parents.
But wait, her father
still together. Still together.
He's a doctor, you said?
He's in the mental health field. He's a therapist, ironically. And then the other thing I wanted to know, that you mentioned something, I don't necessarily feel like white people have less daddy issues. In my opinion, and I'm not a professional, what I feel like is because of white people's mostly socioeconomic status, they have the ability to stay together because there's a bigger potential for loss of money in a separation. And for us, it's easier to leave because it's like, fuck it, we ain't got nothing, so I'm out. I don't lose nothing. But there is a lot of daddy issues in Caucasian households where there's a mom and a dad that I've seen through friends. And it's funny because it's not till I'm older where I'm like, damn, my Italian friends, my white friends, they got a lot of fucking problems too. but their parents are still together and stay together, and it's like cheaper to keep her. And they, you know, like, not to be stereotypical, but you have a house to divide, you have cars, you have assets, you have family trust funds. There's so many other things that people just decide to privately fix it, and they stick it out, or they remain toxic, but they don't necessarily separate. So the visual you get is like, oh, the mom and the dad are there. But I feel like it's more of a socioeconomic situation, because you ain't got shit. You'd be like, fuck it. I ain't got shit. She ain't got shit. We don't have to go through. And a lot of times, again, I'm being stereotypical, we're married, but we're not married.
Right. And a lot of time, both parents are in the, like you said, right, the financial whatever. Because when my son was going to a private school, I saw a lot of both parents being there, but both parents are so successful in their careers that they're never home.
Right.
Both of them.
So then you got that. Those are serious daddy issues too.
Absolutely.
These boarding schools have wait lists. Mm-hmm. There's people who don't see this past week in LA. My girlfriend's daughter came home and she brought her 2 friends, and one of the daughter's parents are with the United Nations, their ambassadors, and she rarely sees her parents. You know, like there's levels to this shit. So many levels.
So many levels.
But daddy issues, this is one that we could do a series on, bitch. All right, with that, we're wrapping.
With that, we leave you. Get therapy, y'all. And
get
everybody
therapy.
Got daddy issues. Everybody in the club get tips. Everybody in the club get daddy issues.
You cannot expect this man to love you if he cannot love himself, man. It's crazy.
Or has been shown love because he doesn't know how. He just doesn't know how. So when he starts feeling that shit, and he's like, I don't know what I'm feeling. What the fuck is this?
Exactly. and you're like, but I just want to love you. And he's like, I need space. This feels crazy. I can't breathe. All you want to do is control me. And you genuinely are like, I just want to love you. Bitch, he got daddy issues. Major ones. Major ones. Tell us about your daddy issues.
We'd love to. Man.
They ain't gonna tell us shit, but they gonna listen to these episodes at least 200 times. We love y'all.
All right, y'all. Bye.
Bye. Gracias for listening to Cositas Mommy Never Told Me. We hope you loved this episode. Make sure you subscribe, follow, and share Cositas Mommy Never Told Me on all your social channels. Todas las redes sociales. And don't forget, if you want in on the real tea and see all of our reactions to the craziness, watch this episode on YouTube. ¡Qué bochinche!